Coach Henry was one of the top coaches in NCAA this past season. He was able to guide a lot of athletes last season. One of the athletes was Tapiwanashe from Zimbabwe, who qualified in the 200 meters. And he went all the way to the Olympic finals in the 200 meters. In addition to that, Coach Henry also coached a lot of athletes who ran a lot of fast times. One of them was another Zimbabwean guy who ran 45.06 in 2020 in the 200. So, Coach, welcome. First of all, I want to ask you, what went into the preparation with Tapi for the Olympics games in Paris?
Well, people, you might think it's cliche, but we, from the start of the season, because he came back from Budapest, I was on the tail end of his training for Budapest because I had just got back to New Mexico with him, and I was just finishing off his last bit of cycles. And when he went to Budapest, he did what he did. He came back, and we had a meeting. The first meeting we said is, "Hey, man, we're going to prepare ourselves for Olympics." I said, everything we do from here on out is going to be about the Olympics. So, he had a big smile on his face, and I was dead serious. I don't think he thought I was serious. I was dead serious. So, like I say, it might sound cliche, but we had a plan from day one. The first day of training, the first day he came back from Budapest, we wrote all our goals down. We did step by step, meet by meet, cycle by cycle. We just had everything in plan in store for Olympics. So, again, from day one, we started with a plan from day one.
Oh, that is really awesome that you were able to schedule something like that with him. So what was the strategy that you used to help Tapi get prepared through the rounds, go through the rounds and make it all the way to the Olympic finals? What was the training strategy that you used?
Well, throughout the season, we limited his races. Well, I limited his races, even though we needed him for points for the college system. So it was a plan we had in the beginning to limit our races. I only wanted him to race. When we get to the national meets like the JUCO indoors, JUCO outdoors, we planned on running a lot of events. He had to score points, so we planned on running like 6 races. Three for each round or whatever. So we had a plan on limiting his legs through the season. So we didn't really race much through the season. We didn't really run much 4x1s. We didn't run much 4x4s. We keyed on every opportunity we have to try to qualify first. And then over the summer, after the season was done, he was healthy. So that checked off the box. He was healthy. From there, we switched our mindset. From that mindset, we switched to now being post-collegiate. I know he still had more years to compete for Kentucky, but now he was thinking like professional mindset. Like, hey, this is a job. We had a plan for his sleeping, his resting, his diet, all of that. So going into the Olympics, over the summer we trained. I was able to get up there with the Olympics with him, and from the day we got to the village, we both were just locked in. There was no hanging out. There wasn't no staying up late. It was always hydrating. We was always practicing at a certain time. We just had a rigorous system that we followed because I did it when I was competing. So I understood to keep the mindset for him the same as when I was competing. So me and him was just on the same page. We just had a plan and we just stuck with it the whole time.
That is great. How refreshing was it for you to be able to share that moment with your athlete and to have an athlete who was able to listen to you and trust in your plan? How refreshing is it?
It was amazing. Again, when we got there, I just kept telling him, "Hey, we belong here." That was our motto from day one. I said, "We belong here." Budapest, it was your learning experience. Don't do what you did in Budapest here. This time, second time around, we're more seasoned, we're more vetted. So the whole mindset was just like, we're going to make a final. We belong here. It was exciting to see that because I never made it to Olympic finals. I made it to world finals, but I always made it to the semifinals in Olympics. So it was just a dream for both of us. Being an athlete, a former athlete, to now coaching in the Olympics. That was just like a full circle for me. We was determined to make a final. We wasn't there just to hang out. We was determined. It was just an honor. I was fortunate to have the Zimbabwe back us up all the way. we just had a great supporting staff with us. So it just took a village for him to do what he did. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just him. It was the physios. It was just the mental preparation and all of that stuff. Played a key component of getting him to the finals.
Very, very, very refreshing to hear that from you. Let's switch it up a little bit. Congrats for being employed by Alabama, because I know you were at New Mexico JUCO. What was one of the memorable moments for you at New Mexico Junior College?
Man, it was so many moments. Every moment was memorable for me with my women and my men. Taps did his thing, but it was just the other athletes. I had a guy like Bovell. Amazing story for Bovell McPherson. He came in to me in January and he tore his knee up first day of practice doing 1080 workouts. And this guy was on crutches. And again, I'm always about planning and just sticking to plans. And I told him, I said, hey man, we're gonna get you back right. We're gonna get you back to the the JUCO national meet. And this guy is walking around on crutches, like couldn't walk. He didn't train anything. And then he started back training. And then for him, long story short, for him to make a final, get second and run a PB, he ran sub 46, he ran 45.80 something. That was probably my biggest moment because of just the kid who was hurt and he never gave up. He came to practice every day. He was determined to come back. So like stuff like that was like one of my biggest moments there. Just seeing a kid walking on crutches 6 weeks ago and then coming back and making a final and getting top 2. That was probably one of my best moments that year.
That is really awesome. So what got you into coaching, if I may ask, Coach?
Well, I was in the sport, and to be honest, track is all I know. I'm not good at like tech stuff. I'm not good at cooking. I'm not good at rapping, singing. I mean, I have a good style, a taste of fashion. But like real life jobs, I didn't have that. So just track was just my purpose, like getting people better, helping people achieve their goals is just something like I really take passion for. So, and lo and behold, it's track and field. So I just love track and field, and I don't see myself doing anything else.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, how would you describe your coaching philosophy and coaching approach?
My philosophy is, we could sit here for hours and talk about workouts, but my philosophy is just like getting the athlete to understand his or her purpose on why they're doing it, and getting them to understand my purpose on why I'm doing it. So that's like my main philosophy, and just holding athletes accountable is another one. So like understanding the purpose and accountability is like there, and if they understand those two, and then the training will be simple. The training will make sense to them on why I'm hard, why are we backing off, why are we on this cycle, why are we doing acceleration instead of tempo. Like they'll understand once they figure out the purpose on track and field and purpose of me and them.
So essentially, they actually have to be on the same page with you and trust that your plan is going to work and stuff like that. That is great. How is it like working with athletes from around the world? What are some opportunities and challenges with working with athletes around the world?
Well, I don't want to get in trouble and say this, but like working with international athletes is typically better because they're more motivated, they're more disciplined, and they're fortunate for the opportunities to be in the States, because easy they can just get sent home and then be back in their village or back in their hometown or wherever they're from. So working with the international athletes is a bit more easier because they want to be professional. They want to run fast. They want to make teams. They want to go to the Olympics. They want to go to World Champs. They want to go to U20s. They want to go to Carifta. They want to go to Pan Am. They want to go to African Games. So dealing with those type of athletes, they're self-motivated. Compared to a U.S. athlete, you gotta probably stay on them a little bit more harder because there's more distractions to them. Fast food, the party, the drinking, the smoking. So like leaning towards the international athlete is easier because they're just self-motivated, like I said, because they want to be on TV. They want to make money and go home and take care of their family back home. And compared to like a U.S. athlete, well, I'm sure they have this. Some U.S. athletes have the same drive, but they're easily distracted, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, being from the States. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. You've coached a lot of athletes, and what would you say is the difference between the ones that perform very well and the ones who don't get their potential?
So I use Tap, for example. If I tell Taps, if I send out a text to Taps and say, hey, tomorrow I personally can't make practice tomorrow, but I want you to go out there and run 6 times 100 strides, easy tempo. When you get done, do 100 abs. Taps to say, okay, coach. If I go look, peek around the corner, Taps is doing it. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing it. Compared to like somebody else, where I have to like go to their room and knock on their door and say, hey, like let's go. Like, hey, I gotta leave at 5. Go ahead and knock this workout out. Like it's just the self discipline and the self motivation is the difference between a high caliber athlete than an athlete that not as high caliber, but you have to like really pull it out of them and really stay on them. With Taps, you don't really have. He's a young man. You don't really have to push him hard to be great compared to others. You have to push him a little bit harder and be on him a little bit. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. After a long day of coaching, because I know coaching is very, very hectic, especially when the season begins, hosting home meets and traveling and all that. After a long day, what do you do to relax and chill?
Oh shoot, man, that's a good question. Normally, after a long day of work, like I come home, take a shower, sit on the couch, decompress for a little bit, reply to like my friends, probably get on social media, laugh a little bit, and then for me, I get on my game. I have a PC set up. I have a PC. I have a Xbox X series. So for me, like just getting away, putting my phone down and just getting on the game with my boys is like feels so good. Like just from a long day of work, I don't have to worry about anything else but just playing games with my friends, laughing and just cracking jokes, stuff like that. So just getting away and getting on the game, or just buying, I'm really into fashion, like buying clothes and shoes and stuff like that, kind of like ease my mind from just track and field.
That is awesome. If you could have a dinner with a coach from any sport and any discipline, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I would have a dinner with Tomlinson, the Pittsburgh coach, the Pittsburgh Steelers coach. I would definitely have a dinner with him, or Mike Spoelstra from Miami Heat. Those two guys, they're brilliant minds. More from Spoelstra is more of like coaching and like direction and just that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to Mike Tomlin, more of being disciplined and being successful and winning all the time. Like I would like to eat with those two coaches. Both of them, one is basketball, one is football. Track coaches, I met all the good ones before. Coach Henry, Dan Waters, like all the good coaches I've met or been around. So I wouldn't meet with any of those. I would probably go away from track and field and probably talk to different sports to see their mindset. Yeah. That is
awesome. And my final question before we go, what advice would you give anyone who is any upcoming coach who is out there beginning their career in coaching? What would be your advice to them?
My advice to them is don't be so quick to try to go D1. Man, you have the opportunity, you have the resources, you have the backing, you have the right people in your corners, then sure. But like you need to have some failures first, a lot of failures, a lot of patience. I would say start off small and just learn your craft first. Don't rush. It's blink of an eye, you can have an opportunity. Like I would never thought that I would be at Alabama ever. I know my work would have got me here, but like just the timing and just the people to see me prove myself is the next. So the timing, just take your time, learn the sport, learn yourself, because you can easily do something wrong and get fired, easily do something wrong and ruin a kid's career. So if you start off small, you have more opportunities to make mistakes than at this level. I can't make mistakes at this level. Well, I'm fired the next day. if I go ruin a kid training cycle, I'm done. Like my head coach will fire me because I got a kid hurt or a kid not performing. So just learning your event, learning your sport, learning yourself, learning athletes, learning how to deal with administration. Just take your time and just learn.